This episode of the Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by PMTLifestyle.com, authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at PMTLifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of a Nak Muay. Go check it out.
Sawadee Kop, welcome to this episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. Today is Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. I hope you're having a great day. I missed you all last week. Just extremely busy with work, catching up on a lot of different things, and getting ready for this crazy month that we have here in August 2023. When you listen to this, it's going to be on Friday when it comes out, but I hope you are having a great week when you do listen to this, wherever you listen to it. A lot of people, including the followers over on TikTok that are live right now, we all of us should just have a fantastic week. I hope that you're not melting in the sun. Speaking of melting, I was in Phoenix over the weekend, and it was 115 degrees in the place I was at. My AC did not work. It was fantastic. And the skylight had a hole in it too. So just all this blue, hot weather coming in. I put blue because I see something that says vote blue that came in over on TikTok. But I've been in Ventura quite a bit, just teaching in between that too. I was just in Phoenix over the weekend and seeing all the students there in Ventura and how pumped everybody was about the John Wayne Parr seminar. If you guys don't know who John Wayne Parr is and you're listening to this and you have an opportunity to go see John Wayne Parr and you are new to Muay Thai, let me give you some reference to John Wayne Parr. He had a documentary made on his life. He didn't make the documentary himself, okay? Someone made a documentary on his life. So just let that sink in for a second, right? Also, shout out to Old Town Coffee in Goleta in Santa Barbara. They're nearby our Santa Barbara Academy. Great coffee. Shout out to them. But this guy had a documentary made about him called Blessed with Venom. He's a 10-time Muay Thai world champion from Australia. He lived it, right? He lived in Thailand, trained at Sing Tien Noi's gym, rest in peace, and was a great fighter, fought the who's who of the golden era of Muay Thai. Also fought in K1 kickboxing stuff too, and he's also known for his dad jokes. I did not get to see him. I had work in Phoenix, like I was saying this weekend. I was really bummed. I did everything I could to try to change that so I could be at the Ventura Academy. It's a seminar. He just retired last year. John Wayne Parr retired last year on One Championship. If you don't watch One Championship, go check that out as well. But if you know what One Championship is, they had his retirement fight on there with Michael Chiavello, doing an interview with him and everything too. It was really just he's an amazing person in our sport, really a pioneer for the Westerners that are doing Muay Thai. All right. Very grateful to have somebody of that caliber at the Ventura Academy. We made it completely 100% free for the Pu'u Muay Thai students. Ventura, Santa Barbara, we did limit the number because we wanted to keep it small. We wanted to keep it intimate. And that did happen. So shout out to Andy from Australia. He's down in San Diego for helping make that happen as well, reaching out. And Dennis Warner for connecting us and dropping our name too. Bass Large says, I got my first fight Saturday. Bass Large, that's awesome, man. Where you got your first fight at? Is it down in San Diego? Because if it is, I know some people who might be going down there. Let me know, man. I hope you have fun. Talking about first fight, John Wayne Parr over 100 fights. Isn't that insane to think about, man? It's just insane. But I think it's definitely something you're going to see more and more of. No, it's Atlanta. It's the IKF. I'm doing the PKB. Oh, okay, awesome, man. Good luck with your first competition experience. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you step up into some full contact stuff as well. That would be amazing. I have a string here coming down my pants from my shorts. If you're watching a live stream, that's what I'm doing. Getting all adjusted. It's freaking hot, man. I think it's really great to have these kind of people. Hell, Deckers had 190 and Sagat had 450. My coach wants me to do PKB before full contact. Yeah, best large, definitely, man. Yeah, Deckers had had a lot of experience, but the thing is, I want you to think about, like, the country. The Dutch were in Thailand before Australia was in regards to, like, Muay Thai. So it's a new thing. Rest in peace to Ramon Deckers. And I felt a similar vibe for John Wayne Parr coming to our academy when I missed Ramon Deckers' seminar. So John Wayne Parr, please stay alive, because I missed Ramon Deckers' seminar, and I will forever kick myself for saying I'll catch him next time. So John Wayne, if you listen to this, is that you, John Wayne? Is this me? I'll just leave it at that. But that's just kind of what I've been up to. If you're here over on TikTok, double tap screen. If you have questions too, please let me know. Bass Large says, you got to train with John Wayne Parr. We at Bass Large, we had John Wayne Parr at the Ventura Academy, our Ventura Academy, free for our students this past weekend. Unfortunately, I was out of town working. So, like I said, I'm kicking myself for missing that one, and I hope I'm able to bring him into our academy again when he comes around into California in the future. John Wayne Parr and Ramon Deckers, both like similar era, right? Similar era. John Wayne Parr, younger. That's awesome. Though one of my coaches pretty tight with Danny Bill. Speaking of Danny Bill, man, we also had Danny Bill at our academy a couple months back. Shout out to Danny Bill. Also one of the legends. He doesn't get enough attention for what he did in the sport of Muay Thai. And I've gotten to meet Liam Harrison and wish me luck and sign my shorts. That's awesome, man. The availability of high-level Muay Thai instruction in the U.S. is now more than ever. There's no excuse to be stuck in the past of these guys who learned, quote-unquote, Muay Thai 20 years ago and then just decided they knew everything, right? So that's great. Let me know, drop in the comments what gym you train at. I have a feeling it's either at Master Cha's place, Thai Top Team, or with Kumpon. I'm sure it's probably one of those two. Maybe it's a different one. I don't know. And then there's also Bruce Panyapol, who's over there in Nashville, over in the South. And I will be down south in the coming future, too. So I'm looking forward to come out and come visit you guys. I'm going to get on here. So something that was like kind of like a bombshell that dropped in the international community through one championship was the discussion of PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, and regulations in Muay Thai. If you didn't hear, and you're hearing it first, is Petchtanong. He was popped for PEDs. So Petchtanong he's in his 40s, I think. He's older. And he is the one championship kickboxing world champion. And, well, he's former, because he got stripped of his title for use of performance-enhancing drugs, but it was during an off-season training cycle, right? So the thing is, he was tested positive for both metenolone and boldenone. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing those correctly, but they're supposed to be for recovery during training cycles, right? So increase your recovery, you can train harder, longer, and you can basically get more training time in with less soreness, less fatigue, things like that. So with that, and I see Best Large, he's dropping it, and this is definitely a lot of people don't quite know that, so that's why I'm going to talk about it here. Is with this, and to Petch's defense as well, he said he was using it for injury recovery, which I totally 100% agree that's probably what he was doing. It was not specifically for performance enhancing purposes, but the reality is you're not supposed to be doing that. That's like, if you're actively competing, you're not supposed to be using any PEDs. But with that said, the lack of drug testing in Asia and other parts of the world is very high. I've, like, the stadiums, Best Large dropped it too, is like the stadium circuit in Thailand. They don't test for drugs. They don't do performance enhancing drug tests. Fighters in Thailand are like a racehorse. Fighters are like racehorses, where they'll get injected with stuff by their trainers. They'll do stuff, whatever they can, to make sure they can keep making money. It is a money business. Muay Thai on a fighting circuit is about money. That is 100% what it's about. These guys are trying to make money. They're trying to make a living. So would you take time off your work if that was your only income and you just, what would you do? We kind of experienced that during COVID, right? And, it's not like a regular 9-to-5 job where you can just call in sick, you get a sick day. If you're not training, you probably won't get to fight. And if you don't get to train and you do fight and you lose, the odds, and people are going to stop booking and betting on you. So that's where they make their money, right? So we've talked about it a lot here. I won't go in depth, but fight purses in Thailand, outside of one championship, there's no fight purse. It's made out of the gamblers' bets and the fighters' bets. Bass Large says, I know construction guys who take pain pills and illegal drugs to keep working. It's kind of the same. Absolutely, man. It's a coping mechanism. It's a symptom of a bigger issue, is what that would be, right? Oh, man, I'm sorry for hitting the mic and blowing you guys up. But it's something that a lot of people don't quite understand. And, I saw a lot of fighters. I'm not going to name names, but there's some fighters at some very prominent gyms who were probably should have retired, and they were looking pudgy, and they were training still. They're just getting older, right? They're just getting older. And they disappear for about 18 months, and they come back and they're shredded. And it just so happens that there is a clinic across the street where you can get these supplements. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. I learned that from people who were managing these people. They didn't say that these people were taking it, but it's kind of like, hey, when you know how easy it is and where exactly to go and what to ask, it makes sense, right? Again, these guys are trying to make money. And speaking of it, you get the other side of the spectrum, which, like, if you guys remember Pride Championship in Japan, they actually encouraged fighters to do, quote, whatever they had to do, end quote, to get ready for their fight. Whatever they needed. And they were very transparent that they did not blood test. Not blood test or drug tests, right? So they blood test, I believe. Sorry for kind of rattling that out, but it's they didn't do drug testing. So it'd be kind of worrisome if they didn't blood test. But there actually is not a lot of blood testing in Asia and fights as well. When you went to China, they blood tested and stuff too. Did Pride have similar steroid rules to IBJJF? I don't know much about IBJJF stuff. I know there's some controversy with that, Bass Large, over on TikTok. But they just said, do whatever you got to do to stay ready. They wanted the freak show fights. They wanted an entertaining fight. And look at the fights that we had back then. That was like an era of MMA I enjoyed watching, and I'm not a big fan of MMA. It's these freak show fights. They're crazy. It's totally nuts. The soccer kicks to the head and all that stuff with these guys who are roided to the gills. It's insane. We had freaking Rampage Jackson slamming people on their head with his chain around his neck. Like, that shit was gangster, man. That was a different time. And it was just the Wild West in Japan. I was just watching this old highlight video, this kickboxing video. I posted it in our Muay Thai community channel over on Instagram. It was like the 80s throwback of like the Enshin Karate Championship, full contact karate, and it was like, man, these are badass times. They're really pioneering times that, looking back on it, is truly one of those times that, like, you look back on, you're like, man, those are the good old days. You don't realize you're living it, right? I think we're kind of with that with one championship. So kind of getting on to that is, you can't really knock Petch for it, because for him it's been normal, right? And whether his contract said it or not, he should have known, right? There's no excuse for it. Definitely serve his time with his suspension or have his title stripped to go earn it back. That's just the way it is. It sucks, but that's what you're dealing with. And now people are going to be more aware that education's there. Hence why I'm talking on this podcast too. It's about education. It's all about education. All right, so those PEDs and stuff too. Like I said, when we're in China, they were blood testing, they were drug testing, everything. So honestly, I don't see many people knocking it. Most people are just accepting it. Bass Large says that over on TikTok. I agree with you. And no, there's a lot of haters, man. But there's it's understandable. Like, what about the other people that are in that bracket or in that weight division or in one championship that don't use PEDs? They don't have that unfair recovery, right? They don't have these like unfair advantages. There's no level playing field. So that's kind of where, UFC has USADA, where they do these crazy things where they'll show up with a freaking briefcase and be like, yo, pee in this cup. That stuff's wild, man, but that's kind of what you kind of have to do to keep the playing field even. But I'm not sure if that'll ever happen with one, just given its global scale and all these different countries that it's in. But I guess only time will tell, and I'm sure Chatry will come up with a solution to this too, especially if it becomes a recurring issue. Kind of going into some Q&A here too. But I just wanted to touch on that and mention that for people, because not a lot of people know about performance-enhancing drugs. So I can see here, Basslar's first question said, my fight, probably no testing, but for PKB is probably unnecessary. You would think so, but man, I'll say it. I've seen fighters who are probably on some performance-enhancing drugs that are at amateur level. I've seen it. And I think not like when I'm a coach, right? And I've been around and cornered in these international competitions that are like quote unquote amateur, right? But I think just knowing that you use something, having the lack of integrity, knowing that you used an unfair advantage to cheat, like it doesn't like I wouldn't feel proud of that. If I knew my fighter was cheating, I wouldn't feel proud of that. I would be like, man, you gotta speak up and say something. Bass Large is also saying, I'm mainly worried about my shins. I hit the heavy bag, but Kloss shins hit different. You'll be fine, man. Don't worry about it. You'll have fun. Honestly, you should fight without shin guards, but that's my personal opinion. It just feels way better, more natural. All right, so first question we have is from Note over on Discord. Hi, guys. I need a mouthpiece. Coach recommended me to buy with a double silicone layer, but I can't find one. Any advice? So I want to say that there is a lot of different mouthpieces. I used a boil it and bite mouthpiece for years. For 14 years, I used a boil and bite, like those $5 mouthpieces. And I have a fake tooth in the front here. I didn't lose it from Muay Thai. And I've had a couple times where I got elbowed in the mouth, whatever it may be. And my teeth were loose after my fight. I was like, oh, crap. But I never had any issues, especially inside training and stuff like that. But I always saw these like custom mouth guards, and I tried one from a dentist. I went to a dentist who like promised me that he can make me one. Trust me, bro, I'm gonna hook you up. I got it. I spent like $350 on this mouthpiece, and it sucked. I made him give me a refund because that thing did not. It was just so big, so bulky, and he was asking me what I thought. I'm like, man, you were supposed to be the doctor. You're supposed to be the dentist. You said you knew how to do this. You didn't know how to do it. So I just like, F it. I'll stick with the boil and bite mouthpiece. So fast forward, that was about 10 years ago. Fast forward to just 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I'd seen this company around more and more called Impact Mouthguards. Impact Mouthguards, I saw this, custom mouthpiece, and it's like, again, I had this bad taste in my mouth, literally, from custom mouthguards from dentists. And I was like, how did they do this anyways? So, shout out to Impact Mouthguards. I see them at all the Muay Thai tournaments, now I know why. They actually give you this custom molding kit. All right, so when you buy the box, like if your academy carries it or you order online, they send you a box, right? So the box, what it is, it's a molding kit. And they give you a couple different, like you can take a couple different molds in case one of them isn't accurate. They have you, it's simple. You mix this putty together, you put it in the tray, you stick it in your mouth for a minute, pull it out. You send a picture of it to Impact Mouthguards. They have an email, they have a whole guide on how to do this. They email you back in like a day or two, let you know if the mold is good to go. You pop it back in the box. There is a shipping label that's included. You just pop that in the box, drop it in the mailbox, or give it to your postal carrier. And in like 10 days, you can get your custom mouthpiece, right? And there's all these custom designs and stuff like that you can get, and they can make them for different sports. So I got one of these, and I had them custom made with Eat Sleep Teep. I liked it so much that I allowed them to make Eat Sleep Teep mouth guards, right? I got this mouthpiece, and I will say, damn, if they had that when I was actively competing, I would have gotten one of these things. I had people who were complaining, oh, it's expensive. Man, it's your teeth. If you lose your teeth, it's going to be a lot more expensive, man. So, shout out to Impact Mouth Guards. Not only that, it makes it much easier to breathe when you have these mouthpieces. They don't fall out. You don't have issues with them. They just stay in. So my breathing's better. My conditioning's better. If you know anything about martial arts, you know how important breathing is for Muay Thai. You just know how important it is. So I'd recommend Impact Mouth Guards. If you go to pmtlifestyle.com, you can click the Eat Sleep Teep mouth guard, go shop on there. Use the code Eat Sleep Teep, all one word, for $10. They'll give you 10% off your total purchase. Okay, go check it out. Impact Mouth Guards. They're a great company. Shout out to them, and they do a lot of stuff to support Muay Thai too. But we have a next question over on TikTok from Bass Large. Any advice for getting in as a smaller fighter? I'm 5'6", fighting at 180 pounds. Okay, hey man. So your first one. Here's the thing. Normally the ring would give you more of an advantage because you can work somebody up against the ropes more, right? Taller fighters. For me, I'm 140 pounds, 5'8". Most of the people were, 6 foot plus that I fought, most of them. And I would say the biggest thing is get really comfortable with your defense. Get really comfortable with walking forward through shots and deflecting and being able to counter strike right away and stay on. Like once you're in, be ready to go. That would be my biggest advice for you. I actually did a whole bit on it. I think I talked about it here on the podcast. If you go check it out on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast. Shan over on TikTok, his next question says, any tips on breathing? I gassed out first round, but coach puts me in at least 2 to 3. So Sean, any tips on breathing? So yes, absolutely. This is something I was on our Ventura students, because I hadn't been there in a while, is breathing technique. So I'm going to try to do away from the microphone so I don't blow you guys out. But I'm here on TikTok, put my hands on my diaphragm and go, shh. When I breathe like this, shh. 2 things happen. One, my diaphragm forces the air out of my lungs, right? That forces me to inhale afterwards. Also, that helps contract all my muscles. That way it allows me to strike with full power intensity. So it's not a breathing like you're blowing, because not only that is when you breathe this way, your jaw is in a neutral position and clenched. So if you get hit, it prevents you from getting knocked out, right? Whereas if you blow like that, your jaw is not, and it's easier to get rattled. Also, when you have that mouthpiece in, especially if it's a freaking boil and bite mouthpiece, that thing is flying out of your mouth. Okay, it is coming out, you're having to adjust it, and you keep getting tagged up. So, breathing technique, you exhale and strike. So when you step back, take a big deep breath. Exhale when you step back forward. Okay, if you're really tired or you're really fatigued, take a really big step back and take a small step forward. So that way you're making more space and breathing. You're hiding your breathing rhythm with your movement. This is something that is probably the first thing that I go over for our students, right? And they don't quite understand. People are like, I just want to smash stuff. And then maybe after 3 months, they get to this point you're asking me about, Shen. And I'll remind them, hey, remember our breathing technique. So I hope that helps. When it comes into that. So big inhale when you step back, small exhale, and then exhale when you come forward. Just like that. Inhale, exhale when you're breathing. So practice that with your shadow boxing. You can take a big step back. And think 2 steps back, almost. And then 1 step forward. So that way you can make a lot of space. When I say back, I don't mean straight back. You can be in an angle in all these different directions. That way when you're stepping forward, you're not inhaling. Because if you get hit as you're stepping forward and inhaling, you're going down, buddy. All right? You're going to get knocked out. Body shot or something like that. Bass Large says, my coach wants me to fight at 140 eventually. Obvious. Nice, man. Any advice to get over nervous? I'm not worried about getting hurt, but I'm worried about doing really bad. This is a great topic, Bass Large. The thing that I would recommend, I actually wrote about this in my book as well, is a lot of the mental prep. The book, oddly enough, is called Preparing for Your First Muay Thai Fight. I published it in 2020. There's a guide that we use in-house for our instructors to go over situations like this and to better prepare our students when they're going to go compete. And part of that is the mental stuff. From the sounds of it, you're going to be dealing with a little bit of performance anxiety, and that is totally normal. Embrace that is going to be normal. I don't know how old you are, but you've been on the planet for X amount of years, and you've been training for obviously not your whole life, right? Whether it be like a year or two. So you're 19 years old. I was 19 when I had my first fight as well. Or actually, I was 18. So you've been on the planet for 19 years. You've probably been training for like a year or something like that. So you have you have 18 years of learning that fighting was not what you should do and to avoid conflict. So, of course, your brain is going to be telling you, hey, what are you doing? You're going to mess up, man. Of course you're going to have those negative thoughts. And like your coach says, no pressure. That feels like pressure. That's pressure that you're putting on yourself. And what that is, it's a psychological thing. And you need to work on your self-talk. My biggest advice to you is remind yourself how much training you've done. Remind yourself of everything that you've learned, right? And trust in your coach, right? Have that 100% blind faith in your coach. He wouldn't be putting you in there if he didn't think you were ready. And, there's a winner and a loser. That's just the way it goes. And remember your why, right? Okay? If you want some more on this too, ask some pre-fight meditations and stuff like that we put our fighters through. You can go check out my book. It's on Kindle, so you can download it immediately. And I go over a lot of this, but it's Kindle. It's like $10 for the Kindle edition. You don't need a Kindle reader to read it. You can read it on your laptop. You can download the Kindle app on a tablet or on your smartphone. If you want a signed copy, you can order them direct from us. You can also order a paperback on Amazon as well. The link is also in our bio here on TikTok, and it's in the show notes as well if you're listening to this later. And I see you've been training a lot too, and yeah, you're definitely trained for it, man. So having that self-talk for yourself, that mindset, that Muay Thai mindset, that you've done everything, trust in your training. You need to trust yourself. That's why I could say you need to trust yourself. Okay? And learning how to trust yourself and what you know, and know that the other person's feeling the same exact way, and it's fine. All right? Everybody handles things differently. Going on to our next question. From Tech over on the Muay Thai community Discord. Hey guys, I'm looking to take my training seriously. I currently train Muay Thai every day of the week. But I'm just wondering, when do I weight train? 1 second here. Sorry about that. My allergies have been kicking off, and I've been sick for like past 2 days. Is it okay to do it on the same day that I train Muay Thai? Because I heard it would take away from my ability to give it my all in my Muay Thai training. So, this is a loaded question, and it's a common one, though. There's a difference between weight training for aesthetics and strength training for combatives and building muscle mass for compound movements, right? So I recommend, you don't, 3 weeks before a competition, don't do any weight training. Those last 3 weeks should be focused on just honing in the mindset, like I was just talking about with Bass Large over on TikTok, and technique, right? And honing in your fast twitch muscle fibers. When you're not in that cycle, strength training 2 times a week. The biggest things I can say, the kind of weight training you should be doing, strength training, is doing compound lifts, squats, front squats and back squats, deadlifts, overhead press, bench press, and power cleans. Along with that, doing dips, like bar dips, and pull-ups, and variations of pull-ups. Everything else, calisthenics. Those are the main things that I would be focusing on in regards to like a regimen for it. It depends on, kind of where you're at in your development cycle. Are you trying to, are you shorter for your weight class and just trying to put on more mass to be stronger? It's going to be different than somebody who's just trying to maintain their weight and, keep their frame, right? So how often you should be doing stuff is really going to vary, but in general, like 2 times a week is really good for basic strength training. Okay. And you're going to be doing it on the same day. For example, if you do like your road work and then eat a little bit, then go do your strength training, that could be ideal. And then you train in the afternoon. Yes, you are going to feel it. For me, I used to always have the unfortunate pleasure of doing leg day that landed on sparring day. That was always fun, but it paid off when it came time to go compete. Especially when I started laying out the weights, a couple weeks out from the fight, because it allowed me to like, hey, man, I actually feel good in sparring. How great is this? And my confidence would shoot up. So that was a little mental thing that I had for myself too. And if you have more questions, do not hesitate to reach out and send me an email to jonathan@muaythaiventura.com. The link is down in the show notes. That's JONATHAN at Muay Thai Ventura, MUAYTHAI Ventura, VENTURA.com. Just put in there podcast question as the subject, or if you want me to read off, give somebody a shout out for their birthday, your coach. Shout out to all the coaches out there. Please don't hesitate to send it in. I'd be happy to give them a shout out. With that, I would like to give a shout out to our team, to all the coaches at Pu'u Muay Thai in Ventura, Pu'u Muay Thai Santa Barbara, everybody that's made this stuff possible with Pu'u Muay Thai. If you know anybody that's out there that was interested in learning martial arts, wants to have more confidence, wants to learn how to defend themselves, be part of a strong and committed community, supportive community, we specialize in beginners, and helping build that self-discipline and being able to overcome these obstacles. Maybe we aren't the actual solution for you, but maybe we give you some pieces of the puzzle that help you get to the ultimate solution that you need. All right? I've never had anybody regret training Muay Thai, ever. Never had anybody regret it. Okay? So, with that said, have them reach out to us. Again, you can shoot me an email, or you can call us, 805-665-3311. And you can enjoy the Kickboxer soundtrack when you're waiting on hold. All right? If you don't know what Kickboxer is, now you know. Good morning, everyone. Woo. Okay. So, the other thing I wanted to kind of go over to finish off today is we have One Friday Fights. What's going on when this podcast comes out is with One Friday, we had the return this Australian breakout star, Tyson Harrison's coming back. So I'm really looking forward to that. He's young, he's 21, Australian. He comes out with the John Wayne Parr-esque garb with a cowboy hat and stuff. Oh, we do have another question on the TikTok as well. Do you think Muay Thai or kickboxers should use a speed bag or speed ball? It just depends on what you're trying to develop, Black Bears. If you're looking to, if you have a problem with keeping your, developing that shoulder strength, speed bags are great. I like speed bags. I don't think they're necessary for Muay Thai. Obviously, the boxers don't use them in Thailand, but it could be good for cross training, right? It's not a bad thing to work in. Would it be something that I would say, if you don't have that, you're not doing Muay Thai? Oh, no, definitely not. If you're here in the West, too, in Thailand, in the East, they think more with their feet. In the West, we think more with our hands. That's part of why we have some boxing curriculum in our programs here in Ventura and Santa Barbara, because we don't want our competitors to ever go in and be like, this is the first time I'm seeing this. We want them to see everything in training, right? Is there as many different looks they can get in training, so that way it's not the first time they see it when they go in where it matters. And of course, our students, our general population students, they're getting that same training as well. All right, so we do have a speed bag at our Ventura Academy. We don't use that often because, one, it's freaking loud and we have a pretty small place. But it's a good tool. I just reviewed this item called the Jukester. I would say that probably has more use than that. That's over on our Amazon review page. The link is also in the show notes and in the bio as well. So, with that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm looking at go check out the One Fights series. It's every Friday. It's live on YouTube. It's free. The video on demand is free. You can go back and watch it. Just look up One Championship over on YouTube. With that said, I hope you had a great week, and thank you for tuning in today. Sawadee Cop. Alright, that's it today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys are listening on iTunes, please go leave a review. It means the world to me if you enjoy the content, if you like hearing about all stuff that has to do with Muay Thai and what we're doing.